So here are three classics that are inspired by true events. The first one is Dancing with the Devil by Immortal Technique.
I once knew a nigga whose real name was William. His primary concern was making a million.
If you're an OG hip-hop head, like you were born in the 80s and the 90s or even in the 70s, you must have come across this song one way or the other. And if you have not come across the song, you must know somebody that knows the song. This song is Dancing with the Devil by Immortal Technique, and the song is actually a story. The whole song is a story, but it's a very horrific story that became popular because of how deep the story is.
Coincidentally dropped out of school to sell weed, dancing with the devil, smoked until his eyes would bleed.
How emotionally captivating the story is, and how this story could leave you horrified and just leave your emotions in a very sad and thoughtful state after listening to the song. The rawness of the lyrics and the direct hits of the message that the song passes across will make anyone who listens to the song shiver. The whole song talks about a man called Billy that was actually influenced by peer pressure to do some things that he shouldn't have done.
So Billy started robbing niggas, anything he could do to get his respect back in the eyes of his crew.
And this leads us to a part where Billy joins a gang, and because of the pressure of the gang, he does the unthinkable by actually essaying his own mom unknowingly. Eventually, Billy took his own life.
But what he saw made him start to cringe and stutter, cause he was staring into the eyes of his own mother. She looked back at him and cried cause he had forsaken her. She cried more painfully and when they were raping her.
And because of the goriness of this story, Immortal Technique was actually asked in an interview whether this story was true or not, and this is what he said.
Even 20 years later, people ask me, is Dance with the Devil a true story?
Yeah.
I can take people, if they really want, to the building where this incident happened in Harlem. And the truth is that that actually did happen, and those people that were allegedly responsible for that began dying. And that's why it became such a powerful story.
So tell me in the comment section if you've actually heard Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique. The second classic inspired by a true story on this list is Diallo by Wyclef Jean.
Diallo, Diallo, we ain't gonna never forget West Africa.
Amadou Diallo was actually an immigrant who was unjustly unalived by the United States police in the late 90s.
Have you ever been shot 41 times? Have you ever screamed? No one heard your voice.
Diallo was just 22 when his life was cut short by a hail of NYPD bullets. Officials say 41 shots were fired by plainclothes officers outside of his Bronx apartment building back on February 4th, 1999.
This song by Wyclef Jean was a global hit in the early 2000s. I mean, listen to these lyrics. He said he rich, sir, but he didn't have no peace, sir.
But now he rests in peace, sir, in the belly of the beast. Raise up.
This literally told the story of Diallo and the testimony given by the officer who gunned down Diallo, because he said that he thought Diallo was trying to reach for a weapon and he fired at Diallo because he thought Diallo was literally shooting at him. But eventually when Diallo was seen, he was lifeless with no weapons in sight. He was just a student from West Africa that actually came to study in the United States.
Diallo was a 23-year-old student from West Africa. He was unarmed when he was shot in the doorway of his home in the Soundview section of the Bronx. Plainclothes officers said they thought Diallo was firing on them. Today in the Bronx, Reverend Kevin McCall will hold a tribute to Diallo featuring several civil rights activists. It's happening at 1 o'clock this afternoon at the home where Diallo was killed on Wheeler Avenue.
And lastly, the third classic that was inspired by a true event is See You Again by Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth. If you're a millennial or an older Gen Z, I'm sure you know See You Again by Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth. This 2013, during the middle of shooting Furious 7, the 7th edition of the Fast and Furious series, Paul Walker actually had an accident. Paul Walker had an accident after leaving his own charity event in his Porsche Carrera. This death broke the hearts of many, with both celebrities and fans leaving their tributes both online and offline. Furious 7 became a blockbuster, and the song See You Again that was a tribute to Paul Walker is one of the ones resonates with the most this present day.